broadcasting from the basement of La Penta. This is WICR.
And we're back for Gold Radio. Hopefully you enjoy that music. Coming back from that discussion that me and Walsh had not too long ago, we have a special guest now with us, WICR's president, Jersey Joe Archino here, ladies and gentlemen.
No claps needed. Again, like you guys said so gracefully, if you're talking Man City, LeBron, Andrew Luck, Marcus Mariota, it's pretty hard for me not to stay away from it.
But yeah, so we filled in Joe when we were talking about how, Aguero moving to PSG, and then how Walsh had his thoughts, and then how I had my thoughts. We filled him in on that. Joe, we would like to know, what do you think is the actual thing that goes on, like in just clubs' minds and all that stuff?
It's interesting because I think one of the points that you guys said there was about how PSG kind of likes to fill out their roster with guys from lots of different places, and I think that's very true. I mean, you look at Zlatan, you look at Thiago Silva, you look at Angel Di Maria, already an Argentinian guy there, and then now possibly PSG is always in the mix. Like, they're always named. Every morning when I wake up, it seems like I get another update. Cristiano Ronaldo has PSG is put in a new bid for him or something like that. So they're always a club that's very active and always very trying. And Ligue 1 is not what the rest of Europe is.
Right.
So PSG, as it is, already has really a firm grip over them. But would Aguero leave? That's the difficult one. I think when you look at Man City, especially last year, Aguero was that attack. They had nobody who could even come close to replacing what he did. I mean, I still remember the Champions League game last year. I don't know if you guys remember against Bayern Munich, where he just goes off and single-handedly wins that game for them. Even, you look at the game against Newcastle United the other weekend with the 5 goals in the 20-minute spin. Oh, yeah. The talent he has is undeniable and incredible, and I think for City, I don't know if you have another striker. We always hear about Wilfried Bony. Wilfried Bony just doesn't have that same caliber that Sergio Aguero is one of those rare players that you don't get very often. So for City, you can't, missing a guy like his production, you can't do it. You can't replace it.
Yeah, I think that's why, we just recently made that comment, was that it's definitely a move that would need to be made over the summer. Within that month span, I don't know if you can really let a player of Aguero's caliber walk.
Yes.
Especially when you're at the stature of a club like Man City, too.
Oh, yeah.
The only way to really cope with a loss of Aguero, there are few players on Aguero's level. To me, probably one of the top 10 players in the entire world.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you guys next. For me, my top 3 in the world is obviously Messi. I know you're a Ronaldo guy.
Yeah, but
Ronaldo right behind, and then I have Neymar third. But I think at the 4 and 5 spot, I think you could put Aguero on his best day at 4. I think you could put him at 5. I really think he could break. Health is the problem with Aguero. Aguero's had a lot of trouble with the calves and staying healthy a lot of times. But I think on the given day when he's healthy at his best, I could put him at 4, and I could see reasonable to do so.
Yeah, that's why I said, to me, no matter who you are, you have to look at Aguero as a top 10 player. Yeah. I think that's consensus. I think that's no doubt about it. Personally, I see Suarez as the 3rd best player in the world.
Okay. I have no problem with that one either.
I just think that he is such an amazing player. But realistically, too, when you think about even just in regards to the best strikers in the world, players like Neymar, Ronaldo, Messi, they're all out on the wings now. Other than Suarez, I don't know if there's any striker I'm going to really put over Aguero. Big fan of Thomas Muller's game.
I do like Muller,
but a lot of his goals really seem to be about the fact that this man's positioning is just out of this world. He's just always in the right spot. Right now, Lewandowski is on another planet.
Yep.
Yeah. Right now, Lewandowski, if he played like this his entire, for an entire season, he would actually be at Messi, Ronaldo level. Like, people would literally have to debate if he's the best player in the world, because what he's doing right now is crazy. It's at least a goal every game. But I don't know if Lewandowski necessarily keeps this up for a full season.
Yeah.
So realistically, I think Suarez might be the only striker I would rate over Sergio Aguero.
I don't disagree at all, and I think you made such a good point with the positioning thing. That is the mark of really a good soccer player. You're knowing where to be, the right time, the right place. That's hard to do. Positioning yourself in the right place at the right time. But he's always there. And Suarez, too. anytime Barcelona gets into a little bit of trouble, it seems like even when Messi has an off day or Neymar's not really there, he's always the guy there to step up. The second match they played against Real Madrid last year, cannot say enough about how big Suarez stepped up. It seems even this season it's been a couple times. It seems like whenever Barcelona is kind of down and dragging their feet, Suarez is always the guy there to pick up the slack, and that says a lot about him because of how good and how much talent they have there.
Yeah, for sure. And as you all guys said, Thomas Muller, people don't see him as like the greatest player, but he's probably one of the most underrated player out there right now. And he is a fantastic player, no doubt about it. If you watch his games, you would see that he puts in his work. He's always on the ball, when he has it. As for my top 3 list, obviously Messi's always number 1 for me.
There we
always
go.
Gonna be that, yeah. For right now, I'm gonna say Lewandowski, because he even at Dortmund he was really good player. Like you can't complain about that. But now at Bayern he looks like he's, like you said, he's just on another planet.
Yeah,
he's just like goal after goal. It's just insane. And we were gonna have another topic on this, but obviously we're on to this now. But for the contenders for the Ballon d'Or for this upcoming year, I had Lewandowski as a top contender because putting in that those goals that he did in, what was it, 9 minutes or so?
yeah, 5 goals in
that
that.
was
Yeah, 5
insane.
goals in 9 minutes.
I didn't even know that was possible.
That's gonna be one of his big things.
Yeah.
It's hard to write off. I mean, look, when you can score that many goals in that short amount of time, and again, it's all positioning.
Yeah,
Right place, right time, reading and reacting to what they're showing you.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and two, just on the note of Thomas Muller, because I enjoy that we're talking about him, because I really do agree that he's very underrated. The man is going to finish as an absolute legend. What he does for club and country is amazing. He's going to. I'm 100% confident that man will finish as the all-time leading goal scorer in the World Cup. He has put 5 through in his first 2. He's only like 24 or something like that. So he's got another 2 World Cups in him. He is going to break Miroslav Klose's record. And when you hear the links of Thomas Muller to all these different clubs, there's a reason behind that. Bayern Munich is so spoiled.
Oh my God.
Because they have players like Thomas Muller and Robert Lewandowski and Robin and Ribéry and Götze who will come off the bench. And one, that has to do with Pep's mindset, but 2, it's because of just the absurdity of players they have over there. I mean, the bench is world class. The bench might finish second in the Bundesliga, in all honesty. So, I would love to see even Thomas Muller maybe go to, somewhere where he might even be more appreciated, but truthfully, he loves being German and just that so much pride in that. I don't see him walking. And, I think that's going to be interesting, but I think that something maybe to pay close attention to come this not this transfer window, but the summer transfer window, is Lewandowski and Aguero, who maybe one of them passes Suarez for best striker in the world, maybe one of them falls form. Aguero sometimes does have those injury struggles. So, but I could definitely see both of them being in regards to transfer rumors, considering as Aguero already is. And people are going to knock on the door for Lewandowski, Madrid, United, and Barcelona. Just because when a player performs like that, those 3 always come knocking.
Yep.
For sure. So, Joe, I got to ask you this question.
Of course.
Going back to Aguero. If you were the owner of Manchester City, the manager, would you let Aguero go?
Absolutely not. I mean, I think that, and that's the thing about Man City is, Man City has shown since the oil group took over that money is really not an issue. They'll throw whatever it takes to put a winning product on the field, and that's the right mindset to have. I mean, you saw with Kevin De Bruyne, you saw with Raheem Sterling. They don't care. They want players, and they don't care how much they're going to have to spend to get them. In that line of thinking, how do you let Aguero go? How do you do it? It's substantially going to weaken the squad if he does.
Right.
And if you've shown this philosophy, I just don't get how you could let him walk.
I mean, the thing, too, is where, considering as we are obviously in America, and
Yes.
any American sports watchers, you have to understand that there's a large difference between when you let LeBron walk and when you let Aguero walk.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You let Aguero walk, and what Man City receives is a boatload of cash.
Yep.
But realistically, as we just explained, there are few players. You can count them on two hands, maybe even one hand, that are better than Aguero. You're not going to get some draft pick. They already have their youth academy, so like you let LeBron walk. You get this draft pick, and it clears calorie space, and it's the cap space and everything like that. And eventually, you kind of figure it out, and then he decides he wants to come back because he loves Cleveland. Yada yada yada.
I will interrupt you for a minute though. If Man City could find a way to get LeBron, I'm all in. I am so in for that.
That's maybe the only way Aguero is allowed to walk if
You heard it
LeBron
here
starts
first,
playing at 9.
everyone.
For
LeBron
sure.
James moving from basketball to soccer.
Yeah, but so I just think for that reasoning, it makes no sense unless for some reason Barcelona says, "All right, we'll swap."
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like, but why? Why even swap? Because yes, I do think Suarez is better, but why swap? If Aguero already has the chemistry with these guys, he's already been there for so long. Aguero is someone who maybe the most famous moment in Man City history.
Oh my God!
That let the
final goal.
game-winning goal of the season.
Yeah.
Even as someone who cheers, for United, even though I didn't cheer for United then because I just wasn't into soccer, but how do you not get chills watching that?
Oh my God!
So there's really to me no way they can justifiably let Aguero walk unless they are convinced they found a new striker, and I feel like it would probably also have to do maybe with Aguero health issues.
Let me add on to that. You saying if Barcelona were to swap with Man City, you think that'd be a dumb idea? Yeah, it would be a dumb idea because like you said, the chemistry. But on the other hand, let's just say this: if they were to swap Aguero and Suarez,
Right.
it wouldn't be so much too bad for Suarez because he already knows the BPL. He's played for Liverpool. He knows the game over there. And it could take him a while to find the chemistry with Man City. That's fine. That's any new player going to a new team. And then Aguero coming into La Liga, I feel like that's going to be a tough situation for Barcelona because you got a guy who's been playing for Man City for quite a while now. And, coming to a new team,
And it's
just not good thinking.
It's a difficult job. I mean, we see it so many times. Jumping from league to league is so difficult. Look at Angel Di Maria, what he did at Real Madrid. Then he makes the jump to Man United. You could hardly even tell he was on the pitch sometimes.
I mean, Di Maria too was a guy who was definitely a top 10 player.
So, and it's part of the thing where you never know what's going to happen. And I think when you take a guy from if a guy can excel in the Premier League, they'll excel anywhere just because of how physical the league is. If you can play there, basically you can play anywhere in the world. So Aguero, for that, I wouldn't really worry about as much. But I think one of the hardest things for people who kind of jump into soccer to kind of figure out is that whole notion, well, if you have this great player, why in the world would you sell him? I understand you get a lot of the money and everything like that, and then you could buy more players. But I think that's the hardest thing for most Americans to wrap around is if you have that great player, I mean, you have your guy. What are you going out looking for another one for? Keep him.
Exactly.
It's hard to wrap your head around sometimes, I think.
Yeah, it's this is not baseball.
No.
This is not where you sit there and say, "Oh, Price is going to walk."
Yep.
All right, let's tap into their farm system. It's for Manchester United, this is a perfect comparison. I think it's not like Man U was saying, "Oh, De Gea might walk." Real Madrid, let's get 2 players from your youth academy and call it a day. It's either going to be a swap of elite player for elite player, and it's going to have to be a drastic change. But realistically, it's not a move that anyone wants to make because you don't want to lose these elite guys when it comes to European soccer, the football and everything. When it comes to that, you can't really afford to just let players like David De Gea and Sergio Aguero or Luis Suarez walk. It leaves teams in a bad way. That's why Jurgen Klopp just got introduced at Liverpool.
Oh yeah, for sure.
100%.
And just like you just said, in soccer, it is a massive change if you were to lose just even one player, like compared to baseball, basketball, whatever. It's completely
Except for LeBron.
it's completely different because you could fill him in with a new draft or pick him up from a different team. Sure, why not? But in soccer, it's like you lose your most best elite player, it just throws off the entire team.
Yeah, because the thing is too is where it's easy to expose certain weaknesses in a side. If you know that their left back is garbage, for lack of a better term, just expose him. Keep pounding that side, or you know what? Stay on the left side and switch play as he overplays to the middle, and you'll have someone right through. You know, if they don't have a good goal scorer, go all out attack, because he's not going to do anything in the final third. If their midfield is weak, you're going to lose the game, because the midfield is where the games 9 times out of 10 are won and lost.
Oh, 100%.
So for that, it's, and if you have a terrible goalie, I mean, people are just going to take 30-yard bangers and just keep knocking them in. So for that reasoning, the entire 11 is crucial. And even down to 14, because most teams do make their 3 substitutions. So you have to be deep in every aspect. This is not the NBA where you say to yourselves, you know what, Matt Dellavedova might get us by. This is not baseball where you say, you know what, I might let Kirk Neuenhuis play 4 days in a row. This is not the NFL where you allow Byron Maxwell to get lit up by Roddy White. You need to make changes when those things happen.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? So
I 100% see where you're going.
Sure, yeah, for sure.
I just think that's the thing too, where the importance of every player is stressed, and that's why, and this is why we're talking about this now for 15 minutes, is because Man City lets Aguero walk. Man City is going to find themselves in the position that they were a little while ago, where they were looking up at the big Manchester team.
And I think and that's the only positive sign I think you can have, is that based on what we've seen, there shouldn't be a reason to get rid of him, because if they're committed like we've seen with the signings that they've made, I think basically it's hard. You're gonna have to talk yourself into doing it, because you're really it would make no sense. It just wouldn't. If Manuel Pellegrini, that's the other thing you got to think about though, is what's his status going to be there? If they don't win the title this year based on the start that they had, very difficult to see him staying with the club. I was shocked he was stayed with the club this year. I did not think that they would retain him. After the loss to Man United in the second match they played, I thought there was no way that he was going to be back. So he's got to win it this year.
And just to add on to that, I was just as shocked too when they were going to keep him, because I thought for sure they were going to sack him. Bring in someone else. I don't know. There was a rumor talking about Pep going there.
Pep's name's always there. Yeah.
But it's just insane. Like Man City, even though I don't like them, I don't support them. But yeah, you're right. They got to win eventually, or else bye Pellegrini.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. You look at the three. Arguably, the 3 biggest managers are Van Gaal, Pellegrini, and Mourinho. Obviously, Mourinho. The 3 of them are definitely all on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Mourinho is on a fast track to getting sacked. He's right now in the bottom 15 with Chelsea, who just won the title. And I don't care how many times he wants to point the finger at Ivanovic or Matic. It doesn't matter. You have to make a change as that manager. You talk about Pellegrini and the fact that it's, win or be done. Maybe a second place finish can save him if it's close, but outside of that, it's going to be tough to really hold on to that job, especially considering the start and the talent that they've acquired for him. Yeah. And then Van Gaal's always under scrutiny. Always.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's constant. And Man U got off to a real nice start to the season, but they went up, finally against one of the better teams in the BPL, and Arsenal ran over them. Yeah. Their next 2 fixtures are against Everton and then Man City. Van Gaal's side needs to win a game, otherwise you're going to see the fire burn underneath all 3 of their seats even more.
And I like Everton a lot. I really like the young talent that they have. Barkley is such a good player. Oh my God! And you watch the way that he's gotten better and better. And they've done it the right way, Everton. They had so many down years. Then they started building with that young talent. That core is built around so much young talent. I don't know if they'll keep them all, which you probably won't. Right. But right now they have that young talent, and they're a really fun side to watch, Everton.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's getting we're just about losing time right now. But
almost.
But I'm just gonna throw in some Iona news real quick, because we're talking soccer a lot. We gotta throw in some Iona news.
Iona soccer at 2:00.
Everyone come out and support. Who are they playing today?
Beautiful plug.
I should know that now.
I believe it is Marist.
It's something with an M.
So that would be Marist. Yeah, I looked it up. It's Marist.
Mammoth, I think.
I
Mammoth, Mammoth.
I
however
think
you
their
pronounce
bus
it.
was parked outside, so
Yeah.
it very well
I saw
might be
that.
Mammoth.
Okay, so
I'll
that's
do
why.
a double check as you go through the rest of the
Yeah,
Iona
there we
names.
go.
So yeah,
The internet, folks.
guys, homecoming weekend. Please come out and support everything that's going on. Maroon Madness is at 9 p.m. on Friday. Come out support the basketball team. It's gonna be a great season, don't you think, guys?
Oh,
Yes.
Friday we'll have a little preview of it up in the new studio.
Oh yeah.
That'll be
Nice.
fun.
Very nice. Yeah. But by the way, it is Marist.
It is Marist.
All right,
to
never mind then.
I knew it was something with an M, so I'm holding
You were on the
to
right
that.
track.
On the right track. I had the first letter.
Yeah. They got rugby, the men's rugby take on Army this Saturday
Yep.
at 2:45. It's gonna be a crazy game. Everyone's
Take
gonna
on
come out.
Army?
Oh yeah, Army.
Wow.
It's about our third time we take on Army.
Wow.
You guys ever win?
We lost first game. We won. I think we won or tied the other game before. I think we won it by just a couple.
Wow.
points.
That's awesome.
Now I gotta ask a question just for you guys.
Yeah, sure.
Is there a little extra intimidation when you play the Army guys? Just because literally those guys' jobs is to be strong and like hurt
I mean, they're
people?
the Army. Let's
Yeah.
it's cut and dry.
For the guys, I don't think they're intimidated. It's just
I would be.
Yeah.
I'd run the other way.
I mean, at first, the first time we played them, it was a little intimidating because it was the first time we play them. You see, they're guys, they're jacked, they're huge.
Yeah.
It's just
can
insane. But now we got really good players. We're
Right.
skill wise, we're a lot better.
Okay, but that first game, definitely, I could imagine the
Yeah.
look in the guy's eyes.
Oh no, yeah, for sure.
But that's good too. That you guys, playing some top competition like that.
Oh yeah, I
And
don't know.
it definitely
I don't
shouldn't-
know if you guys know, but we're part of the D1 men's rugby.
Yeah, D1A
Uh,
rugby, right?
Yeah, D1A rugby. We just broke Canterbury's top 20, so now we're ranked number 20 in this country. So yeah,
Definitely.
kudos to men's
All
rugby.
around.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations. I really did not know that at all.
Oh yeah,
So-
follow us on social. Follow us on social media.
I
everyone.
didn't even know there was a social
Stop
media.
slacking on that.
Instagram-
Wow.
Instagram,
I'm way behind the times. Feel like Grandpa Walsh right now.
Instagram, Iona College Rugby, Twitter, ICRFC1, YouTube, Iona Rugby, and Facebook, Iona College Rugby Football Club. So, follow us up on that, get the latest updates and all that. But yeah, we're top 20.
The only football club I love more is Manchester City Football Club.
Anyways, and, tomorrow hospitality supper, tomorrow 5:30 Montgomery House. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you, Jersey Joe, for being here
Hey,
with us
thank
today.
you guys for letting me come in. That was a really
Yeah,
good
it was
segment.
good.
Appreciate it as
Yeah.
always.
Always, yeah. Anyway, guys, this is Gold Radio. I'm Gus.
Okay, Walsh.
And Jersey Joe.
Man City.
Man City.
LeBron.
All right, guys. You have a good have a good one, guys.